Howdy, my name is Andrew Shank. We're with the Working Pastor blog found on the World Wide Web, and more than likely you are watching this YouTube video as a result of clicking on a link in one of our posts. And we're thankful that you took time to view this video. I just want to take a moment to kind of amplify the particular post that this is dealing with and just kind of share with you kind of in a visual way how important this particular topic is, that of guarding and yourself from shipwreck. Our pastor, Dr. Barbara Robertson of Gospel Light Baptist Church of Walkertown, North Carolina, has instilled into all the preacher boys that's come through the ministry over the years here at Gospel Light. And he says this, I don't know how many times wherever he goes, but he relates an event that he had in his life, I guess a turning point maybe. I'm not sure how he would describe it necessarily, but he mentioned this quite often. He was at a meeting years ago with Dr. Bill Rice Sr., and there was a lot of preachers at this meeting, and Dr. Bill was talking with these men, and he shared three things that pastors need to guard in their ministry. And he went on to say at the conclusion of his points there that, if you look at somebody who has shipwrecked, you can usually trace it back to one of these three things. So the first thing that Dr. Bill mentioned to our pastor and those other men there that day was the fact that pastors, missionaries, evangelists need to guard themselves as far as finances go. And all people have trouble with finances, some more problems than others. But like Dr. Charles King mentioned in a meeting where I was at, he was speaking to the men there at the Bible College where I graduated in 1998 in King, North Carolina at the Calvary Baptist Bible College and now seminary. But Dr. King was there speaking to the men here not long ago, and I like how he put things. He talked about debt and ministry, how pastors need to be careful about their debts, be sure you pay your debts off. But he made a statement. He said, be honorable in your debts. And boy, I think that's some good advice to all of us, including me. And so you need to be careful in your finances. Watch getting in debt. The Bible really doesn't want us to get in debt. I mean, God doesn't like that. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and I know we justify a lot of things. I've done it over the years, but we need to be careful about our debts. We need to be sure we pay our debts off. Be sure you don't lie and have a bad testimony about your debts in the community where you're ministering in. And the second thing was that of the opposite sex. Well, I tell you, how many ministers, how many pastors, missionaries, evangelists have failed when it comes to women. And man, there's all kinds of jokes out there about how the pastor run off with the piano player and the organist and all this, that, and the other. All men are susceptible to making mistakes, and I know it does take two to tango, as they say. I know that the women are just as guilty as the men. But with that said, men, guard your lives, your ministry, your home from the opposite sex. Not only that, but we could go into the realm of pornography there as well. Boy, I tell you, a lot of men struggle in our society especially. We've been inundated with so many things. You can't pick up the paper without finding some at least mild form of pornography, though some would never call it that, but it is. Most magazines that you sit and maybe would peruse through at the doctor's office, a lot of those have things in there that should not be in there. And again, it's not called pornography, but it really is. So, I mean, even from a mild form into hardcore pornography, man, there's a lot of problems out there, and a lot of God's men are caught up in that, and they're paralyzing themselves, their ministry because of it. So, men, guard yourself from the opposite sex. And then, the last thing that Dr. Bill mentioned was that of your doctrine. And I tell you, a lot of men that I know I don't believe will ever have a problem in their doctrine. They'll have a problem with women or something else, but it won't be doctrine. But there are some men that will have a problem with doctrine, and it's so easy, man. You get out there, maybe on the mission field, and to try to have fellowship with other brothers, and they're brothers, no doubt, in the area. But their doctrine isn't quite like yours. And it's not a matter of agreeing to disagree and still be friends. We're talking about stuff beyond that. We're talking about stuff that really is doctrinally unsound. and they have a different persuasion about things. And I'm going to tell you, you got to be careful, because in an effort to try to be friends and friendly, that stuff will creep in your life, and you'll find yourself, it depends on your nature, but if you'll find yourself gravitating, trying to be likable, trying to be nice and kind, you'll find yourself getting into the trap of at least accepting the false doctrine, though you may not practice it. And that's just as bad. And so you got to guard yourself in your doctrine. Our people that we lead, they see that, and we don't want to be doing this thing about, saying one thing and doing another. We need to be sure that we're consistent all the way around the board. So just mention those things to you. Again, Dr. Bill mentioned, that again about the finances, about the opposite sex, and about doctrine. He mentioned that, and I wasn't in that meeting just before I was born, but evidently God's touch was on Dr. Bill Sr. And Dr. Bill Rice Sr. made a profound impact on my pastor. And I believe our pastor has practiced that over the years, and boy, he certainly has tried to instill that into all of us. So again, I just want to share these things with you. Again, this is in connection to a post that we put on our ministry blog, The Working Pastor. You can connect with the link below. Again, we encourage you to make comments, maybe share some things with us on our blog post there, and we'd love to hear from you. Again, you can check us out on workingpastor.blogspot.com. Again, workingpastor.blogspot.com. Thank you for your time, and may God bless you.